Are you looking for a few tips to help your journey when you're playing King Arthur Knight's Tale? Well, you've come to the right place. This is going to be a video of my quick tips for beginners on console. And don't forget guys, if you learned something while watching this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as we're going to have more content on the way. First thing I should say is don't be afraid to play this game on the lower difficulties. This is an unforgiving game. It is a tough game to kind of get your head around at first because getting your players injured has consequences. So if you're finding a game far too tough, drop it down a difficulty. This isn't a tip, this is just a bit of advisory just to kind of help you get acquainted with the game before you attempt to tackle those harder difficulties. Tip number one is to remember to use your map. When you spawn into a level, you have access to your map. Now with that map, you can tell where your campfires are. You can tell how many campfires there are on your map because there's not always the same, and it gives you a little bit of a better idea of when to use them, because it's not always the best idea to use them as soon as you come to them. So in my opinion, planning ahead is key. Talking about planning ahead, if you plan to get rid of any of the knights that you have acquired, tip number two is going to be to strip them of armor and weapons beforehand, because if you kick them out with those weapons, with that armor, with those potions for instance, well, they're going to take them with them, so strip them off beforehand. Tip number three is going to be within the merchant's shop. You're going to be able to buy potions, that being armor potions and health potions and a few other things as well. This is a hard game, an unforgiving game, and my tip to you is to buy as many potions as you're able to. Stock up on them, because even if you don't need them early game, you will come to a point where you're going to need more than you have. Tip number four is upgrade your castle as early as possible. Now, there are plenty of things for you to unlock in every single building that you unlock. You can also level those things up and unlock more about it. Now, throughout the period of your game, you're going to be coming into different tasks that is going to cost different amounts of resources as you go through. My advice is save it for the castle first, unlock those rooms, because some of them are going to really help you out, like for instance the ability to train the troops you're not currently using, or of course heal the ones that get injured in levels. In my opinion, the cathedral is probably the most important building for you to actually unlock, because it is here that you'll be able to get rid of those niggling injuries. Now, even if you are the most cautious warrior, your troops are going to get injured. They're going to pick up those injuries and you're going to want to get rid of them because they carry some huge debuffs. Now, we've already talked about planning ahead. Tip number five is going to be about doubling down on the line that you choose to go. If you choose to be just, if you choose to be a tyrant, if you choose to be Christian or follow the old faith, my advice to you is to stick at the plan you have already created and build a team around that, because especially on the harder difficulties, you're going to need good synergy. Tip number six is to remember that all of your heroes do not automatically gain experience. If they are not training at camp and they are not coming on the levels with you, they will not gain experience, they will not level up. And in this game, you're probably going to need more than one team, and you're definitely going to need rotational options. So making sure that you level up your troops that you're going to be using, that you want to be using, that you want with you in the end game is a smart play. You don't want level 10 troops with a level 5 sub coming in. So having a good rotation within your party is a smart play. Tip number 7 is to remember that the direction that your character is looking is very important. There is a skill within this game called backstab, that is to basically flank your opponent or be flanked. You can change the direction that your character is looking even if you have no AP to move. You can still change the direction you're looking, so keep an eye on that because there is some serious damage that could be done. And so ensuring that you are not flanked can be an absolute lifesaver. Secondly, trying to get that flank, trying to actually actively get that backstab can deal out serious damage. You're talking about 200% extra damage if you manage to get that backstab in. Tip number 8 is to pay more attention to your ranged companions. First of all, they don't have much armor, so they need to be protected. But remember, even if you're protecting them, they need to have actual line of sight to hit a target. So planning ahead in battle is really important. But there we have it, guys. They are my quick tips for beginners on console. This game has just released on console. It's one that I really enjoy, but it is a tough game if you're not into these type of games. If you've never played a turn-based combat game before, if you're playing on one of the harder difficulties, it can be very tough to get going, especially as this is a very long campaign. You're talking about 70 hours to hit that end game. So being able to give yourselves a good head start in this game, I think is absolutely awesome. So if you've managed to learn something from this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We do also have an active and growing Discord, so if you fancy joining the Discord, come in and saying hi, or if you just want to pick up a player or two for the PvP side this game has, then you can find a link to it down in the comments of the video. Honestly, I think the biggest tip for this game in general is to have a little bit of patience and plan ahead. You don't have to rush around in this game at all. And as a bonus tip, doubling down on that taking your time in combat, if you literally skip your first turn, then you get to save AP points. Saving those AP points can be the difference between an early victory, because you can quite literally get an extra attack in while you're letting the zombie horde kind of march towards you. Most of the time when you get into battle in this game, the troops are far away, and it takes time for either you to go up to them or them to come down to you, and it means that that very first turn, sometimes you can just save those AP points, and again, that does give you that extra attack when it is your turn. But anyway, guys, I've been a monk, we've been a Critic Kudos. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy gaming.